Hi, look like we are
Hello.
live. Hi everyone.
Howdy
Hi,
from
Hello.
how
Austin, Texas, y'all.
where is everyone calling from? I'm calling from Florida right now.
I jumped a little ahead, but I'm in Austin, Texas. Howdy, everyone. In the YouTube chat, let us know where you may be joining from as well. What about you, Brian?
Yep. I'm currently in North Carolina.
Hi, I am still in Dallas and enjoying the sunny weather here, I guess.
Very
Well, I
nice.
guess we're calling from all over the place. That is one of the greatest things from the virtual environment, right? So without further ado, I will talk about who we are here. We can see a lot of familiar face, some us not, but I will talk about who we are and what are we gonna talk about the solution challenge over the next hour. So, uh, hi, my name is Evelyn. I'm the DSC lead this year at UT Dallas. And you can see Aditi here is my previous beautiful president, and she is tuning with us today. And also, we are happy to have one Googler and one past participant of Solution Challenge last year to join with us today and share about the experience with the competitions. So please help me welcome Danny and Brian.
Howdy, y'all. Some of y'all may have met me last year, when we started the DSC chapter at UTD. I am here to answer some more questions about Solution Challenge, but allow me to do a brief intro for those who may be meeting me for the first time, albeit virtually. Hopefully, we'll get back to in-person things here soon, and I can come up from Austin and say hello to all of y'all amazing students. Officially, my name's Daniel Fiorello, but all of my friends call me Danny. Hopefully, by the end of this year, we will all be friends. So please go ahead and call me Danny now. As Evelyn mentioned, I am the DSC community manager here for developer student clubs, specifically in the US. So what does that mean for y'all? I am kind of, the man in the shadows as far as Google goes. It's my job to uplift and connect y'all with amazing speakers, resources, and Google content, and connect you with this amazing solution challenge opportunity to where you can take all of your new skills and get out there in the real world to showcase all of the amazing things you can now do. So with that, I'll turn it over to Brian to go ahead and do a brief intro of yourself.
Yep. Hi, everybody. My name is Brian. I am a current computer science student at University of Texas at Dallas. Last year, I worked on a project tackling food security and food waste for the Solution Challenge, and I really enjoyed the community of DSC. So this year, I decided to join DSC as the marketing lead.
Awesome. Thank you, Danny and Brian, for such a great introduction and greeting for everyone. And I also want to shout out for Alex and Eric. They are our moderator today, so that if you have any questions, Alex and Eric gonna answer it in the chat. So just drop the question there, and we will address your concern like in the chat immediately. And so for now, let's wait Danny, Brian, and Aditi. We're gonna see them back a little bit very soon. And now I'm gonna talk about what we are gonna be doing today. So for our agenda today, first we will talk about what solution challenge is, and Danny will share with us why it's such a so exciting opportunity that you should not miss. He will walk you through what criteria for the projects, as well as how you can get the most out of that. And then I will share about how you can get involved with the competitions as well as the developer student club in overall. Then after that, we will hear from Brian on tips on success in solution challenge. He was our past participant last year and our DSC officer this year. So he has a lot of things to share with you of how to make the most out of these competitions. And then when we have some time left, we will be open for Q&A. So if you have any question, just drop it in the chat, all right? Okay, so many students who want to work in the tech industry after the graduations, but there's this kind of like fragment in student learning experience that the student usually don't have the necessary tools to, moving on with their career after the graduations. So that is why DSC exists. We are here to bridge the gap between theory and practice for student developers. And one of the way we achieve this goal is through Solution Challenge, one of our biggest annual competitions that is hosted by DSC chapters around the world. And what Solution Challenge is, then, well, I will have to get Danny back on this stage. So please help me welcome Danny back, and he will tell you what Solution Challenge is and why we should not miss this amazing opportunity. So, hi, Danny.
Hey,
Welcome
Evelyn.
back.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing me back and letting me introduce Solution Challenge. I know I will be transitioning back to you in here just in a little bit. So thank you again for having me. And without further ado, pretty sure y'all are excited to find out more about Solution Challenge. So let's jump on in. For some of you, this may be the first time you've heard of Solution Challenge. For some of you, you may be coming back from last year. So what I'm going to do is try to provide a recap and introduction for those who may be seeing this for the first time and encourage you to participate. So let's start at the beginning. What is Solution Challenge, right? The Solution Challenge is an annual contest that invites students from DSC communities to develop real world solutions for local community problems using one or more Google product, service, or platform. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, whoa, Danny, that sounds like a crazy ask. But here's the thing. The reason we've designed this challenge to be a little bit more open-ended is we have seen that students in this virtual environment are getting the opportunity to, build projects in the real world and join far more hackathons than they may have been able to in the past. But what we have noticed is that traditionally these problems are approached and worked on for a span of, maybe 48 to 72 hours. What we want to do is actually encourage y'all to not just find a problem to work on for a certain period of time, but to really dive deep into and give you a larger amount of time to actually build out a complete solution, right? Going through the full developer cycle, right? From design, implementation, testing, and ultimately launching of the solution. So what you may be hearing from me at this point in time is, yes, this is similar to maybe some other hackathon projects or projects you've worked on for school. But the difference here is Google is actually going to give you resources to use our tools, right? Our paid platform to build out a real world solution that traditionally you don't have access to unless you're putting up your own dollars, right? So that's kind of what Solution Challenge is in a nutshell. And let me jump into why it's so important to do it. So, as I've kind of mentioned, in this virtual environment that we find ourselves in, a lot of students and a lot of jobs are becoming far more competitive, right? So, what does this mean for you? Students are having to find new ways to showcase their skills. And what better way to showcase your new skills than having a project be adopted by a real business, local nonprofit, or another student organization to prove you have these skills, right? So now let me back up a little bit here. When you're joining with the Developer Student Club, one of the things you're doing is, being taught hands-on workshops with Google technology, enabling you to learn and build with new skills that you may not have previously had. What we want to then do is give you the opportunity to really lock in these skills via a real world application, which is ultimately going to make you far more, attractive as an employee, right? Intern, wherever your next steps may be. Because when we step back and we look at what an internship really is, an internship is you being brought on board, right? To kind of focus in and build one specific software tool or update a particular process, right? By taking part in the Solution Challenge, you can actually, potentially replace one of these internships by having this real world skill be adopted by, a business, local nonprofit, or another student organization. And that is another thing that is very unique about this Solution Challenge, right? Traditionally, at hackathons, you're kind of just given a problem and say, hey, get out there and solve it, right? When you go to class, it's traditionally the same thing, right? Like, hey, we're going to build a database, right, to where we could identify students' overall grades, and we can, have some sort of application which would automatically notify them if they're in danger of failing the class, right? What we want to do is kind of depart from that model and give y'all the chance to step out and identify a problem you want to solve, right? And then using our resources, actually build that real world solution. Now, you probably have heard all this information and gone, wow, this sounds really awesome, but when can I get started? Well, in short, I'm going to have to say, just take a time out and hold on for right now, right? Don't actively begin coding on any project or any, solution you identify until after our registration period has opened in January 2021. The official registration opening has not yet been released, so please stay tuned. I will make sure all of y'all get that amazing information when it becomes available. But what I want to do from at this point in time is encourage you. Just because you can't register does not mean you cannot get started right now. In fact, what it means is you should partner up with your other DSC community members, your DSC core officers and DSC leads, to begin identifying potential problems, potential clubs, and businesses you may have a connection with to help build out projects for the entire club to work on, right? So, put those thinking caps on. Anything that you could potentially solve with a Google product or service or platform in the local area is absolutely available to you. We're not going to say you can't try to solve local food waste issues or anything like that. I just ask, when you're thinking of ideas to solve, please make them obtainable, right? Don't try to solve, the entire world's, fuel problem. Try to make it something which you could, actually use the technology to build a solution, which, other people in the world would be able to benefit from. So again, just to recap, opening in January 2021. At this point in time, you should absolutely begin thinking of problems in your local area you think you could solve with one or more Google product, service, or platform. Now, I'm not going to jump into too much detail here, but what I wanted to show you was briefly the solution challenge timeline for last year, right? We opened up in January and we actually had a extension until April. This is, if I were a student, I would expect us to follow a similar path here. The only difference is, we may keep submissions at the end of March, right? So you would have 3 months to actively build your projects versus 4 months. Again, these details for 2021 Solution Challenge have not been specifically released yet. So you will get an update on when the registration opens, when deadlines open for submission, and when final solutions have to be submitted for you to participate and potentially win some amazing prizes. Pardon me, was talking a lot and needed to make sure I had some water there. Cool. So now that I've talked a little bit about what Solution Challenge is, some of you may be thinking, okay, this is great, Danny, but how am I going to be judged? I do not want to go through all of this evaluation criteria with y'all, but there are a couple things I want to bring to y'all's attention while we're here. So if you have questions, you can ask me later. On screen, you'll see that there's a couple different pieces of criteria we look at, right? Impact, technology, scalability. We are actually going to be grading y'all on a little bit of a different cycle than you've probably seen from other hackathons or challenges similar to this. We're actually going to look at your future proofing. We're going to look at if you've actually tested these solutions with real-time users, right? A lot of these things are traditionally not covered when it comes to building a project, but are absolutely necessary and crucial to building a real-world problem outside of like hackathons, outside of projects for school, right? These are things which absolutely have to be done in the developer cycle to kind of launch them as real solutions and business opportunities. So really take this time when you go to the Solution Challenge website, which you'll get a link to here in a minute, to look at what's being asked of you, right? A lot of the points you can actually capture from our evaluation criteria come from outside of your actual coding. So, for some of you on screen, you may be thinking, Danny, I have participated in a ton of different events that, UTD has hosted. I'm building out my skill set, but realistically, I don't know how good of a coder I am to be able to implement TensorFlow for the first time. And what I want to show you and encourage you is that's okay, right? We have criteria and points for you to, distinguish yourself and for you to really show the thought that you've put into these projects beyond just the actual coding, right? Because in the real world, that's something that is, very valuable. So please, when you're thinking of solution challenge ideas, right? When you're thinking of potential, businesses you may want to outreach to, come back to this evaluation criteria. Make sure you read it and understand it to where you're setting up your project to focus in on the areas which will gain you as many points as possible. That's going to be how you move from stage to stage of this event, right? Because this is a global challenge, right? You will be competing against, all developer student club, members from across the world. So, really take this time to understand the criteria and make sure you build your project as best you can to separate yourself from all of the other submissions. That being said, I also want to point y'all to go to our Solution Challenge website, which I am so, Vanna Whiting. I don't know the best way to say that, but this is what our Solution Challenge website looks like, on my TV screen back here. Please go ahead and use this link to navigate to our terms and conditions. It's very important y'all understand what is being asked of you and what you are, agreeing to take part in this challenge. One pro tip that Danny always recommends is always read your terms and conditions service of anything. It's always important to understand what you're giving up to give access or gain access to a challenge service. Plus, there's some cool Easter eggs in there. For some of you who are familiar with the new Peacock TV service, if you actually go read their terms and conditions, which I did because I love myself and I don't want to do anything that I would regret. I actually found a really cool, chocolate chip cookie recipe. So you never know the Easter eggs that you may find in those terms and service. So go ahead and make this a best practice and something you do for everything. Go to our Solution Challenge website via this QR code or the link and make sure you understand each and every piece of our conditions. That being said, though, that's kind of it for me in terms of Solution Challenge, what it is, as well as some of the evaluation criteria that we are going to grade y'all on. What I'm going to do now is, let's give a warm welcome for Evelyn, right? She's going to come back and she's actually going to talk to y'all about what y'all's role is as a DSC and how you can take part in this amazing challenge. Welcome back, Evelyn.
Hi, Danny. Thank you so much for such a great introduction about the solution challenge. And yes, make sure you guys check out this link. This got a lot of information you need about the terms and conditions to participate in the competitions as well, like what is the criteria for grading and who is the winner. And so I can see that many of you may be wondering what is the DSC roles in here. And I can see a comment in the chat about like if there are any workshops that occur during the time period of the solution challenge that can use to help learn new skill. This is exactly where DSC come from. So um, our goals here is to support you to put 100% efforts to not only support you in these competitions, but as well in growing your experience as a student developers. That's why like from now until like the end of the semester, we will keep hosting a lot of workshop to prepare for you both technical and non-technical skills that will be really helpful for you to not only be competing in the competitions, but as well as a student developer as well. And I'm so happy to share that one of the workshops will be occurs will be like tomorrow at 7 p.m. That was be on the Google Assistant, hosted by one of our amazing officer, Salmi. So just tune in on that. is really a wonderful workshop for you to attend. And yes, and along with that, just not only when you are participate in these competitions, you not only have access to our workshop, but you will have access to other DSE chapter workshop as well. So we have a lot of workshops on Firebase, Flutter, Google Cloud Platform every week. So yes, please pay attention for that. And beside hosting workshop on non-technical and technical skills, we also will help you with the phase of ideation phase and networking event. So, for example, if you don't have a team yet, so you can just let us know, and then we will help you to find your suitable partners to cooperate and work on this project with you. So, oh, and just one quick note, if you were a participate in the solution challenge last year with us, there will be a small change this year so that we will not pre-select teams anymore. It will be more like a long-term hackathon where you form your own team, and we will be more like a supportive role due to like the change in the virtual environment right now. So the trade-off of that, on the bright side, we will be able to provide you more resource on the learning and as well as like virtual workshop to prepare for you to get ready for the competition and to build your own project. So without further ado, so how to get involved with this amazing opportunity? So to be eligible for this competition, you will need to be at least 18 years old when you register for the competitions in January 21. So make sure that you are eligible for that. And you can form a team up to 4 members. So you can work with more people, but what we're aiming here is to every one of you, when you participate in the competitions, I want you to have enough like impact on the projects, because like the ultimate goal here is for you to grow your experience as a student developer. So if you work with more people, that is fine, but it will also dilute your experience in the competition as well. So maximum is 4. And just remind that your team size will also be taken into considerations when we consider like the winning teams. At the same time, you are encouraged to work with your teammates from all chapters of DSCs. So if your best friend is happen to be in DSC, let's say Australia, feel free to cooperate with that. But we are also really encourage you to collaborate with teammates within your own DSC chapters, just for the purpose of the effective communications. But if you want to cooperate with the teammates in another DSE, that's totally fine, as long as all of the members in your team are actively in DSE. Okay, so yep, that is anything you need to know to be qualified for the competition to participate. And as I said, we are no longer, like pre-select teams before, like last year anymore. So we have an interest form so that we can know like who we should contact and what is the best way that we can communicate with you from now until like the registration and beyond that, so that we can provide you all of the learning resource or any kind of information that directly related to solution challenge this year. So make sure to check this link out. If you already got a team, also let us know in this form so that we can know like how to put you together when we communicate. If you do not have a team yet, that's fine. Just put it here, and we also like acknowledge of that, and we'll help you to find your teammates as well. And one interesting about this one is in this interest form, we also put out there what kind of like technical or non-technical skills that you think that will be helpful for you during this preparation phase. So we can host that workshop to directly like provide for you so that you can be ready for the competitions. All right, so make sure to check it out. And I also attach the QR code here so you can just scan it and bookmark it. All right, so now let's welcome back Brian on the stage, and we will hear from Brian the tips for success. So hi Brian, how is
Hello.
everything there?
Glad to be back.
Okay, So Brian was one of our past participants, and this year he is also a DSC officer as well. So I'm so glad you are here and share your experience. So yeah, Brian, let's share a little bit about you with other students in the live stream today.
Yep. So as I mentioned earlier, I did solution challenge during spring semester of 2020. And for some background knowledge about my project, my team created an app that combats perishable food waste by linking restaurants with local food banks.
Awesome. So I think that we have some certain question that a lot of students are curious about. So I'm really happy to have you here to answer those questions for the students so that they can be confident to step into these competitions. So the first question would be, what kind of knowledge you think will be helpful for students to know ahead? This is a phase where the students start learning the skills and prepare to register on January. So what kind of prerequisite knowledge do you think would be helpful for the student to know before they step into the competitions?
Yeah. So for prerequisite knowledge, I think you would need to have experience using Git and GitHub, as long as knowledge of a programming language. And then from there, it will depend on what you want your project to be. So let's say that if you want to do a web app, then you probably need a JavaScript framework like React, Angular, or Vue, along with backends such as Python Flask or Node.js. For mobile apps, maybe you want to use React Native, Flutter, or other mobile development frameworks. And in terms of those technologies, there's a lot of resources online for learning. And the DSC tech team will also be able to help with hosting workshops and stuff like that. And one major piece of the project is the required Google technology. My project used Google Maps API as well as Firebase, which is a Google Cloud database. But Google Cloud has a wide range of products that you can use. And overall, I think motivation and willingness to learn is more important than previous experience.
Thank you for sharing, Brian. Yes, that if you sound that a lot and overwhelming, please don't be worried right now. Remember that is where DSC come into play, right? We are here to support you to learn all of this knowledge and get ready to be in the competition and as a developer as well. So just stay tuned for all of our workshops, especially tomorrow, the Google Assistant one, the 7 p.m. And just join with us and learn all of these technical skills before you can feel really confident to build your own project. Okay, I think the next question would be, what is the dream team for you? This is a phase where students start reaching out to their friends, probably their neighbors, to forming their teams up to 4 people. So what do you think would be the best characteristic of the team that would be most efficient and productive to work with?
Yeah, I think the most important part of making a team is balance. So you wouldn't want people only interested in front-end development or design, or only interested in back-end development. Other than that, I think having a good team dynamic and good communication will also increase your chances of success. And also the solution challenge is a really big time and effort investment. So making sure that your teammates are all on the same level of motivation as you is also very important.
Yes, I totally second that. The balance make the team is really, the harmony of the team, and that's very important. Oh, this one thing I would add in is that I think that the diversity of the background would also be really helpful, because you could be very technical, but this is a solution for a specific problem with a local business. So if you have friends who are working in a business, majors, or who have a lot of experience in business as well, and vice versa, if you are business savvy and you got a friend who is a technical guru, just team up with them, and you can have a lot of perspective in the problem, and it will help you to scale your solution much easier. So yes, I totally agree with Brian on the balance and the team dynamic. And yeah, the next one is, this is all about solution. So when it comes to the ideation phase, how did your team last year come up with solution? And what tips do you have for the student this year to like build their project and how to focus on thinking about the idea as well?
Yes, so the way that my team came up with the food security idea was by basically looking at the problems that face our local community, as well as can be applied in other areas. I think it's important to have a project that has an impact at both the local as well as potentially national or global scale. And one thing that I learned through this project, as well as other development pursuits, is that the idea is almost always more important than the specific tech stack, the software technologies that you use. So as long as you develop the project, or as you develop the project, it's important for you to keep the big picture and the goal in mind.
Yes, that is the utmost important thing here. I totally agree that this is about the solution challenge, right? So put most of your attention and effort into the ideas. Remember, like the criteria that Danny mentioned before, it was about like the impact, the technology, and the scalability. So you can see like a lot of it focusing on the ideas itself. So just be attention about that. All right. So I think that is all the questions that I have, and the previous year student was like having it for us, yes, last year. But if you have any questions, just drop it in the chat right now, and I will bring it up for our Q&A with Brian and Danny and Aditi as well. And so what is the next thing that you should do? So please check this out, the Googler Solution Challenge website. That is the official website for the Solution Challenge. For now, all of the information is in the Solution Challenge 2020, but it will be updated with the Solution 2021 very soon. So pay attention to that. And we also expect like very minimal change on the terms and conditions as well as the grading criteria. And then find your team, reach out to all of your friends. If they are not in DSC, yes, also don't worry, just join us. And you will be, as long as you are 18 years old and be a member of a DSC chapters, you are all good. All right. And then once you feel like excited and interested in this participating in these competitions, let us know using the interest form in bit.ly/solution challenge 21. Just put your information there so that we know like what you need us to like provide, what kind of workshop, what idea you want to help we want us to help you to like develop. And if you need to like find a team for you, we are here to help you. All right, so make sure to check that out as well. And I see a question in the chat about what do I mean by active in a DSC. So by active in DSC, it means that you are officially registered on our community platform. So you can see that the dsc.community.dev, that is a community platform for all the DSC chapters. So you should go to that website and in the chapters, just find our chapter at the University of Texas Dallas. Or if you are at another school and your school have your own DSC chapter as well, check this out. I also attached the QR code here to direct you directly to the chapters, like our chapter community page. So you don't need to like looking for our chapter anymore. So use that QR code if you are UTD student or you want to be registered as a UTD student. And I also have the Discord channel here. So for communication, most of the time we will communicate through Discord, as well as for Solution Challenge participant, we will create a channel there specifically to communicate all the information related to Solution Challenge this year. So make sure to check it out as well. And I also put my LinkedIn and Brian LinkedIn here. So if you want to connect with us and hear more about like our personal life and professional life, check us out as well. All right. So yeah, that should conclude for our what we have today for informations. So please welcome back Danny, Brian, and Aditi. So we are here to answer all of your questions. So make sure to drop it in the chat right now so we can answer it immediately. Hi, welcome back everyone.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, so one of the things Oh, no, we'll just jump in straight to a question. So is it also possible to access previous workshops that students did not attend? Maybe this would be best to come from you, Evelyn.
Oh, yes, definitely. So you can find all of our previous workshop on our community platform, and we will provide all of these workshops mostly going to be recorded, and we will provide it in our Discord channel as well. I can totally gather it into one email and send it to all of the solution challenge participants so that they can have access directly to it. So don't worry about that. All right.
Yeah, just make sure you're signed up for the interest form so she knows who to reach out to.
Yeah, that's true.
Awesome. So while we wait for some other questions to come through, I'll just briefly mention some questions I've heard from other DSCs when it comes to Solution Challenge. So number one, Solution Challenge, right? One of the questions is, Danny, you mentioned that there's projects that you're going to get the opportunity to work on, right? We get to choose them. But how do we go about getting the resources to build these products? Because they're traditionally hidden behind a paywall. Well, that's where we need your help. Number one, we need you to fill out the interest form for UTD Solution Challenge so we can make sure to connect you with all these resources as we go. Number two, when Solution Challenge website opens up for registration in January, what you're going to need to do then is go to our website and register, right? That's step one for us to load you into our system and begin giving you access to some of our additional Google mentors to help you with some of these problems and questions that you may have, as well as give you those really important GCP credits, right, to use these APIs and to use our Google Cloud platform. So, step one, connect with us and wait for registration. We will definitely get you connected with all of these resources, but you got to register, right? That's step one. One of the other questions that kind of pops up when I join these is Danny, right? I want to work on a very specific solution for a business. And what I actually want to do is, since I have a connection with this business, I want to bring them in to actually talk to the rest of this DSC group. Is that something I could do? Pardon my French, but heck yeah, you can, right? In fact, we want all of y'all to look at your networks to see if maybe, your parents, a friend, maybe a colleague from an old internship or job is, able to help you make that connection. And then what you can actually do is have a meeting where, these business, nonprofits, other student group come in and they actually talk to you about the problems that they're facing in the real world. And from there, you can actually, come up with maybe not just one, maybe not just two, but a couple of different solutions to help these businesses or local nonprofits out. I would strongly encourage y'all to go through an exercise like that, because one of the most important things about Solution Challenge, right, is giving y'all that additional boost to your resume, right? Having that project adopted or connected to a real business, student org, university is going to give y'all so much more, credit when it comes to your LinkedIn and your resumes, and it's going to make you far more attractive when you're researching for new roles and open internships. So take this opportunity now between today and when we open up for registration, because this is the opportunity to focus in on these pieces. This is the opportunity for you to go, Bryant makes a really good point about Firebase, but I have no idea what Firebase is. How do I go about using it? We have time to plan events to teach you these skills and to help you make the most of this amazing Solution Challenge, and for you to, hopefully win some awesome prizes and get, a greater connection with Google from it.
Thank you, Danny, for sharing. Oh, yes, I can see one of the question here is about the deadline of filling out the interest form. So since we have the registration form open rolling on January, so we are expecting to keep the interest form open until the end of the year, so like by the end of December, so that we can direct the information about the registration form for the student through the contact information here. But for us to like support you most effectively, right? We have the winter break is coming up on December. So I would encourage you to fill it out as soon as possible. Probably like the best would be like by the end of this month so that we can have the time on December and probably on January as well to host like workshop based on your interest so that we can help you to prepare like the best before you step into the competitions as well have the idea to be solid by the time you register.
And don't just stop with submitting it yourself. Send it to your friend. Send it to your
Yes.
colleague at another university, right? If they don't have a local DSC. We want to encourage as many students from as many different disciplinary studies to join this challenge, right? Because one of the things that you will experience in the real world, I can tell you from firsthand experience, you're not only going to be working with just computer science students, right? A lot of what you'll do in the real world, if you become a software developer or a developer, is you're going to be working with managers. You're going to be working with people who are pretty far removed from the actual coding and building of these skills. So just because someone may be a business administration major or perhaps an econ major doesn't mean they can't bring in valuable insights as to how to improve products, test products, as well as be part in this greater developer cycle, which many students will find themselves in upon graduation, right? So encourage your friends and make the most of this challenge, right? You're going to get out of it what you put in. So, just keep that in mind. Register, take part in all of these amazing events that are upcoming, and reach out to us if you have any questions. We're always here to help.
Yes, I totally agree that yeah, before we address this current question, I just want to make a quick note that just think about the solution challenge as a learning opportunity rather than a competitions because we are here to learn and like it's an opportunity for you to work with your friend to build some real product and make real impact with what you are doing with your ideas with your perspective. So don't put too much on like weight and thoughts on the competition and the winning itself, but think about how you can make the most out of it, right? Yeah. uh, okay, so which Google technology do you think find to be the most useful for the solution challenge? Well, Danny and Brian, do you want to tune in for this?
So I would prefer to go last here. I think Brian, Taditi, you should jump in here, right? Y'all have some experience project building, so I'll reserve my thoughts until the end here.
Yeah, I can comment on this. So, Google Cloud has a ton of technologies, going from database to hosting serverless or server applications, all the way to computer vision, machine learning, stuff like that. So, I think looking through that and trying to find technologies that you can apply to your project would be good. And then Google also develops Flutter, which is a cross-platform for mobile development, as well as Go, which is a language I haven't worked with a lot, but I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. So for me, I was about to mention the Flutter and Google Cloud both because the thing with these two is it's really easy to get started with this. Most of the time when we were organizing the first batch of Solution Challenge participants, the thing that came up was, hey, we want to provide resources that these people find easy to grasp first, and those resources are advanced enough. So if they want to move further into the project, they are able to do so. So Google Cloud is really easy to learn and get started with, right? Same goes for Flutter. And if you all were able to attend the spring workshop we had on Flutter, it's really simple and you can make a cross-platform app. And right now, I think that's a really cool thing to do. And they're rolling out so many new releases and updates in it. So those are two really important things. Firebase is one really cool thing to use. Honestly, I think every hackathon person or a hackathon junkie you talk about, they're like, we have used Firebase this, we have used Firebase that. It's like the thing you want to use. But yeah, that's what I think about these three technologies are probably the best to get started with things.
Yeah, I totally second that. Google Cloud Platform is really easy to use, especially like when you can leverage all the like Google product and service using that platform as well. I think that is super helpful technology for you to, like get used to because like trust me, you will have to get to know it in industry, in this way or not. So probably you should better to like
Since
learn it
it's
from now.
all Google, they integrate with each other really well. I think that's one
Yeah.
really huge selling point out there for it.
Yes.
Yeah, y'all stole a lot of my thunder. Admittedly, that's why I wanted to go last there, which is good. Y'all are, the DSC leads, and the support here for UTD. So definitely listen to all of that amazing advice. One of the things I'm going to take just a moment and do here is I'm going to plug, a couple of these things, and I'm going to kind of connect it all back for you. So, we've talked about Flutter, we've talked about Google Cloud Platform, we've talked about Firebase, right? One of the great things about DSC here is that you have opportunities to get connected with all of these amazing resources beyond just your local chapter, right? And one of the things we've done is we've had, webinar series about Flutter, right? We have an upcoming one about Firebase, right? For y'all to join in with other DSC leads from across the US, right? And what that'll do is help you, stay excited and stay hungry with these technologies because, I won't lie to you, there will be difficult days, right? I wish I could tell you Firebase and Flutter, I picked it up 100% perfectly, right? Like never made a mistake. But that's not going to happen, right? Part of this learning journey is to get out there, make mistakes, be in a group with, supportive peers, and to ultimately like believe in yourself and overcome them, right? All of those are really good technologies. But what I want to do as well is, encourage you, don't pick a technology and then work backwards to solve a problem. Find the problem and then get a group and really go through a design thinking exercise and look at what makes the most sense to really tackle this problem. Some problems that you may be aiming to solve, Firebase could be useful, but maybe not the ultimate tool that you want to use, right? Maybe it's more about like having the actual Android and iOS app for students to actually be able to get connected with. So focus in on your ideas first, and then explore technologies you can utilize. But to just kind of close this off, Flutter hold a special place in my heart. Firebase hold a special place in my heart. If y'all could, integrate TensorFlow in your projects, mine's going to be blown. So, the sky's the limits. I think we have like 200 plus API tools and stuff loaded in there. So like, get creative, have fun.
Yes, thank you, Danny, for sharing that. That is awesome, I must say. So I think we no longer have any questions. So if you or anyone who is watching this video, probably like later, if you have any questions, just drop it in our Discord channel so that we can, like address this for you, answer for you. And if you ever need anything, if you like want to review this again, this video going to be published on our YouTube channel as well. So feel free to go back anytime if you feel like you need to review some of the, like material or like some of the tips that provided by Brian, Danny, and Aditi. So yeah, so thank you so much, Danny, Brian, and Aditi for tuning in with us today. And thank you everyone in the chat that had putting like so many great questions. And I hope that you could take out today's info sessions. Oh, I think we have like one last minute question. So for the problem phase, what is your suggestion for fighting problem? Ooh, this one is a tough one. Brian, Aditi, I think you have a lot of experience on this. I can see Aditi is so excited to share right now. So Aditi, how about you answering this one?
Yeah, I was like, oh, can I answer that? That is one really big problem, or like it was a problem that we were facing for a problem phase. So there were a lot of teams, and they were all like, how do we get started with this? One thing that I found the most useful was get them to sit in a group and probably start talking about the things around them, around as in even if it's the same room, talk about things that they like about the room and they don't like even if it's the craziest of the ideas, and slowly expand that, because at the end of the day, solution challenge focuses on local community. How far will you go when you're like talking about these things? First, it's the room. Maybe you could be like, I think the energy system over here could utilize some technical things, like we could make an app which saves energy in some way or the other, just things like that, tiny things. And you expand over. Once we expanded over to like the student community, like the SU and stuff, and we were like, we need to think about the problem of like too many people being there at the same time and not being enough spots. So if there's a place we could like reserve spots, or if not reserve it, why should we do these things? And like if there are queues for food, how we can make sure that there are small queues and everything is organized. There's so many ways you can go about it, but the best part is start with wherever you are sitting. Anything and everything in life is not perfect. So wherever you are at the given moment, there are a lot of things that can be improved right there and then. Start from there and you will eventually reach the perfect problem you want to solve. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Ryan, do you want to add anything about that? I think like you guys got a lot of like experience last year about like how to like figure out a solution, and for I think the waste of the food and for the restaurant as well. So how did you come up with this problem?
Yeah, so we just looked at I think the specific thing was that we Googled the biggest problems in Dallas and then looked through like basically all the different problems from that website just to give us some ideas. And then we were thinking about like solutions on how to use technology to create solutions for those problems. And then DT covered a lot, but I think one important thing would be to not just have a solution for UTD specifically that can be applied to different universities or different areas, because it should have a local impact, but it should also be scalable to national or global scale.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Also, one point about Brian's project, I think one of the team members y'all had, her family was really related in like the restaurant business. So I think she had strong experience saying this is how the food system works. And I think those experiences with your families also result in like, okay, we can do something about this maybe.
Yes, I totally agree with on Aditi and Brian. I think that is a great advice. And yes, just like Brian said, just leverage one of the most popular product of Google search, please, and and just to iterate some points that I think Danny bring up before. So when you come up with a solution with a problem, don't try to focus something like too big, like war hunger, or something that is like you cannot like address a specific solution for it. Think about start something small at IDT. Just I don't know my background, but a little bit like focusing on research. So for example, when we come up with kind of like a hypothesis of what kind of question we want to do the research on, we don't want to focusing on something like too big that we cannot like do the experiment on it. But we also don't want to focus on something on too small that is cannot like do any kind of experiment out of it. So just try to find a sweet spot where it kind of like balance, where it's not too big. It can be stopped partially or like fully by a solution proposed by you, but at the same time it needs to be scalable. So it's not like something that is too tiny and not many like impact when you got that product or solution out of the world, because like you want a product that a lot of people can utilize it. So try to make it scalable while it's specific. That is the hard part of it. But who knows what can you come up with, and it could be like one of the best things that can come out of this competition for you. So yeah.
So if I could just jump in for a second, one of the things that I think is really important to notate here is we kind of danced around this, but it wasn't directly said. Find something you're passionate about, right? Bryant's, project, it sounds like someone on his team was really passionate about food waste and was like, yo, this cannot continue. We can solve this, so let's do it. I want to encourage y'all to find that motivational factor as well, right? Look around and, try to find a problem which you are faced with each and every day, right? Even if you just solve a problem which would save you, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, right? That's something which is still an amazing solution, right? So I just want to encourage you, even if you're not thinking about how to prevent food waste, even if you're thinking like, okay, what's an app I could build which would tell me how many times I actually snooze my alarm clock, to where if I should change my, routine to be more effective about going to bed and waking up on time. That is still an amazing solution to build and still has the same, caliber in my mind as food waste, right? The solution to the problem is what matters, right? It's not the problem you're aiming to solve. It's how you approach it, and keep in mind all of the evaluation criteria, because it's far more than just the code that you submit. With that, though, I wish y'all all luck with the amazing opportunity that you have in front of you. I think we are. Do we have any other questions, or how are we looking here? I hadn't seen any come through. Any last minute questions from anyone on the YouTube chat? Any final kind of words of advice or wisdom from everyone on the call? Because for me, I think the real benefit is to hear from y'all, right? So if I could take just one last moment and just briefly mention, leverage your amazing team here, right? I'm also happy to help, but y'all, seriously, they have done this. They have great plans. They have something in place to help y'all connect with this technology. Just let them know how they can help, right? And I want to encourage you. The conversation doesn't just stop here because this YouTube stream is ending. Continue the conversation on y'all's Discord channel, right? Continue to reach out and brainstorm about all of these different ideas, and share this video with your friends. We want everyone at UTD to be welcome, even if they've never attempted building a project before.
Yes, don't worry if you have no experience, we are here to help. So, yeah, I think that should conclude our info session today on Solution Challenge. Thank you everyone for coming here, including Danny, Brian, Aditi for being here and help. So, thank you everyone for being here, and I hope that we will continue this conversation soon. All right, see ya.